Okay, nice. Hello everyone. This is Afrophysics. This is officially the first video that I'll be uploading to YouTube. This is also my first broadcast being recorded live into YouTube, and I'm going to use this as a test just to see how I can work with the streaming services provided through YouTube. So this is great. I'm excited. I'm going to sound like I'm talking to myself, but this is all for just my own interest into how I can go along broadcasting my adventures here. I think Mr. Crow's getting tired. So let's get started. I think I'm going to start off by saying I have had a decent day today. Came home, enjoyed a nice lunch with my family, kissed my wife goodnight, and overall enjoyed some good vibes today. So before I go any further, I just want to state this explicit disclaimer. All views, opinions, and stories shared in this stream and in this video do not reflect the opinions or views of any organization or company that I may reference. This is all my personal views, and I would ask that you keep this as a form of reflection to yourself. I think that's the official statement. I need to fix that up or just copy it from South Park's intro card when they present their episodes. So anyway, I guess I'm going to use this time today to just try to complete Bloodborne and just talk a bit more about myself. So I'm currently trying to get my PhD in physics, specifically in a field called plasma physics, and I just really wanted to work into any project that delves into fusion energy, and I'm sharing these details to you guys just to present the person that you'll be listening and enjoying content from. So I think the main purpose for my content would just be for myself. So I don't plan to cater to you guys or the audience for any specific requests right now, and I think I'll just keep this for myself. Terms and conditions are set to change in the future, so I'll just leave it as that. Anyways, I'm still having trouble trying to articulate my thoughts here, and I'm just walking around in Bloodborne while I articulate my thoughts. So, as I was saying, I'm trying to get my PhD in plasma physics, and I've been working on some interesting science recently, thanks to the guidance of my mentors and my professor slash PI. I've had a great amount of time to explore basically my curiosity in this field. And I think I've... Sorry. One of my cats is using the litter box and cleaning the door with their bare hands, but anyway. Yeah, so it's been already 5 years, about to be 5 years into this PhD program, and I'm barely getting started. Hopefully I'll be set to complete my thesis sometime middle of next year and hopefully defend by the end of next year. So yes, I've been trying to work on a project that deals in plasma physics and fusion, nuclear fusion science. And I've had a great amount of luck in getting into this program. So for those of you who don't know what this topic is about, plasma physics is a subfield in the study of physical sciences that focuses on the fourth state of matter, fourth state in the sense of energized states, quote-unquote energized. So the more energy put into a system of particles, the further up you'll go into these states of matter. So as we know, as we're familiar with most of the objects we interact in our daily lives could be a solid, and that we usually state that as the one of the lowest states of matter. As you increase energy, or in the form of heating, you could heat up a solid and it would eventually change its phase of matter. And phase is just the physical state we interact to observe the object, and it changes its phase into a liquid. That's the second state of matter. And now as we energize it further and add more energy, it changes into a gas. Now there's more to this. You could add more energy to a gas such that the atoms or molecules in the gas begin to ionize because there's so much energy in the system that the atoms themselves begin to uptake this energy to basically spew their electrons to higher and higher energy states. And this is done through a lot of very specific phenomena explored in a field called quantum mechanics, such as absorption and even charge exchange or spontaneous emission, all that stuff. Sorry, I'm not qualified to talk anything about this. Maybe a atomic physicist or condensed matter physicist can jump into this, but as more energy goes into the atom to spew out its electron, it eventually ionizes and the electrons become free. Essentially create a gas mixture of both ionized or electron-less atoms and free roaming electrons. So you have these electron-less atoms with a positive charge because they're missing these negatively charged electrons, and you have these free roaming electrons or negatively charged electrons just roaming around. And usually with plasmas, if you're doing any experiment, if a physicist or scientist wants to run experiments with plasmas, we try to contain them. So they're they're containing a set volume, and with a known set volume, we could determine specific properties of the plasma. And this is done with very, very fancy mathematics to try to model this phenomena that we could observe. So plasma physics is, the study of plasma physics is just that. You have a highly energized object in the state of matter of plasma, contained in a set volume, and perturbed or I guess played around would be better words, in any way these scientists or physicists wants to observe certain phenomena. And what's great is that plasma physics is fairly new, but the modeling and the intuition that was used to build our understanding in plasma physics has been established prior, thanks to electrodynamics and fluid mechanics. So plasma physics is also basically a mixture of both electrodynamics and fluid dynamics. And the fancy math comes from these models. So we go in depth with a Navier-Stokes equation, which could be developed from first principles. First principles meaning like from scratch. So from scratch, we could develop a famous fluid mechanics equation called the Navier-Stokes equation that could describe flow of a fluid, or flow of a mesh of stuff going through a certain geometry or of a set volume, any arbitrary set volume, with characteristic viscosity and absorption, I think was the other characteristic. Okay, give me one more. Check something real quick. Okay, sorry. As I was saying earlier, sorry, not as I was saying. As I mentioned earlier, had a decent day, good vibes, love my family, and our home is really cozy. I just want to state that out. We just moved into a really great home, and we love our new space, but we've been having plumbing issues, and we're trying to get that sorted out with our landlord, which they've been responsive, and I'm thankful for that. So I was just checking the bathroom drains for any potential buildup. I'm sorry for if I'm being too detailed here, but just want to share this out. So nothing came out, and I'll just leave it as that. Going back to my introduction in plasma physics, I was talking about the Navier-Stokes equation. It's great in describing the motion of fluids. or how a mesh of stuff that's free to roam around um, a set volume with known physical parameters that include viscosity of the fluid, or viscosity could be thought of as friction, and absorptivity I think was the other one. So sorry, I need to review the parameter set in the Navier-Stokes equation, but what's important is that theory that most of plasma physics is based upon is on the equations, fluid equations, such as the Navier-Stokes equation. And again, most of this can be set up using the fundamentals, which I call them first principle, and these are just the basics. So basics you could think of as maybe like Genesis or first days of creation. I'm bringing in Christianity here, I'm sorry, but you could physicists usually like to state that there's nothing in our imaginary universe, and then we'll start off by bringing into existence something, and then once we bring into existence this something, this one thing, we have to be very specific what that one thing is. It could be a point particle. Then we can state its intrinsic properties, or I think the best way to explain it is its characteristics. So let's say you bring in a person, let's name him Jerry, and the intrinsic properties of Jerry, which will be his characteristics in this example, would be set up as by our scientists. So let's say you're the scientist, and you get to decide what Jerry's characteristics would be. He could be nice, he could be mean, he could be depressed, he could be joyous, or he could be demanding. And I'm just stating out random emotions right here, but I think what I was trying to get at was that one of the characteristics or properties that he could set up is his emotion. So we could list these characteristics of our person Jerry and categorize them, and we do so just to make our ideas more organized, and it will help us assemble a model. And that's when the fun starts. We could actually introduce some math. So in an actual, and I guess the proper name of this practice is called a thought experiment. So usually this is how thought experiments work. You think of this empty universe, you bring this one object in, and you set up its intrinsic properties or characteristics. And a good example is the point particle. So you have an empty universe, you bring in a point particle, or literally just an object that's a point that exists at one specific point in space. And you could tell where in space it is, and you state its intrinsic properties or characteristics, which you can start off by saying one of them saying that it's mass, how heavy the point particle is. So this point in space would have a mass of 2 kilograms, let's say, or 1 kilogram. And yes, I'm using metric units here because for most cases it's easy. So let's say 1 kilogram for the intrinsic property. So what else can we think of for characteristics of an object, physical objects? We'll skip any characteristics that lead to the meaning of self or sentience or any human philosophical terms, and we'll just stick to the basics. So aside from mass, we can also think of charge. So charge is another physical characteristic, and through several experiments, we know how to measure charge. Even we also know the units. In metric units, we label charge with the unit of coulombs, and the charge itself would interact with a lot of physical. Sorry, I'm blanking out words. So the charge itself introduces physical characteristics as well as mass. So these intrinsic properties or characteristics. Sorry, I'm circumnavigating the word itself. So these intrinsic properties bring about physical phenomena. Because it has mass, it would interact with gravity. Because it has charge, it would interact with electromagnetism. So these intrinsic properties are important to determine how the object, in this case the point particle, will interact with our universe. And its location in space is an important part of it. It's also an important intrinsic property of the particle. So it's an important part of setting up this thought experiment. So first principles, we set these particles up in our thought experiment with known positions in our space. Now, the next thing we could label or set for our particles, and this might sound a little unusual, a little unorthodox, because we don't usually do this, but because we know its position, we could also go one order above in terms of time and apply momentum or velocity of the particles. So now we have an additional intrinsic property. We know its position in space, and we know where it's going. We know its momentum, its velocity. And with these two cool features of our particles, we can start building our model. So once we know the position and direction of where our particles are going, we could actually try to visualize how the universe would play out over time. If you see a set of objects going along a certain direction over time, what's a great poetic way to describe that? One way is to say that they are flowing through a certain space over time, and the space can be described by a small subspace or small section of your universe, or it could be described as your entire universe. It's actually up to you how you want to describe it, but usually in most math models we use the entire universe just to make everything easy. So when we want to use the entire universe, point particles makes that really easy to describe, to work out the math, because the way we describe point particles is by using a math trick or math model called Dirac deltas. So Dirac deltas are really cool single value functions that describe a distribution But just for the sake of time, we'll this. And sure, Sanchez, you can join. There. I'll ring the bell, but I'm lazy. I haven't set up a private password for my room, so let's see if anyone joins in. Oh, wrong bell. That was embarrassing. Okay. And I wasted a bunch of Quicksilver. Okay. Yeah, so I went off to a huge tangent here, and I just introduced something very complex. Dirac deltas. It's just a way to represent something very small and sudden, like a point particle. It doesn't have an actual measurable size, but it has a definite position. We've already applied definite momentum. So it has intrinsic properties, and therefore we know it's real. It's an object in our universe. So in a way to represent that in a mathematical model, we use something called Dirac delta. And Dirac deltas are really cool. They got really cool math features in calculus and also in probability. I'm not going to take time to talk a lot about Dirac deltas, except know that it just means something really, really small, but that it's definitely there. And if you want to try to measure it, you have to, a great way to measure that thing is to integrate or add up all the space in the universe and apply the density, which is the Dirac delta itself. The Dirac delta will represent the density of the particles. It'll tell you where exactly these particles are. And you can sum all the space in the universe. It'll grab all the Dirac deltas, and it'll give you back the total mass of your system, or the total charge, depending how you use the Dirac delta to describe the density of your system of particles. So I'm sorry, I didn't really describe or explain well how Dirac deltas are used in math, but summing is a huge part of creating this model. And okay, so I'm gonna take a minute just to concentrate and get things started. So, sorry, this guy just died spontaneously. I swear I did not kill him. And this is my third new game for this specific profile. Okay, so what do we have? In our universe we have these point particles, and we're able to describe them mathematically with something called a Dirac delta function. We could sum up the distribution, which are a group of Dirac delta functions, and we get back the charge and the mass present in our universe. Present, by present I mean the total, or just adding up all the masses of the particles, or all the charges of the particles. Okay, I'm just gonna get some blood back. Okay, so we do this to start defining our sources. So what are sources? Sources are basically just fountains of concentrating. I can't multitask right now because my mind is scattered. level 500? I am level 171. He said, sorry, I'm checking the visitors or audience here. So I had a nice visitor tell me, chatted with me recently, and they've stated that they're a similar level with me, a similar level as me, sorry, and that their level is 500, which isn't similar to me. I'm lower. I'm level 171. Okay, sorry. So, even though this is my third playthrough, I'm gonna go the mechanics of Bloodborne. Initially, I went for architecture. Now I'm starting to appreciate skill build. Skill would probably blood tinge, but that'll be for another character or in the next new game for this character. But I finally understand why the wheel is cool. I think I'll keep. No, I'll use the wheel. Nice. Okay, so sources of what? Because when we say sources, we usually mean these objects are going to provide something. So the cool thing about our objects is with their intrinsic properties, we could describe them as sources or providers of a certain physical phenomena, and this phenomena is usually forces, physical forces, and you do learn most of this in intro physics when you take classical mechanics. So one great force you learn is the gravitational force, and the source of gravitational force, according to intro classical mechanics, is mass. And we'll just leave it as that for now. So mass is a good source of gravity. And remember, our other intrinsic property for our particles was charge. Now charge, which you learn in intro electromagnetism, I think for most of you it would be intro electrostatics and magnetostatics. You learn that charge is the source for the more specifically, the charge is the source for the force fields of electromagnetism. This is really fascinating, actually. It took a lot of great minds to discover this, but when they were defining these forces, they initially defined electromagnetism as separate forces, when actually they're both the same force. They're two sides of the same coin. So electromagnetism was first probed, tweaked upon, played about, discovered, I guess, by Coulomb, and discovered in a way that was able to characterize and actually provide great measurements in the physical attraction of two charged objects, and that attraction was defined by, or not defined. It was shown to be directly proportional to the charge. So this was a great clue to how the charge acts as opposed to. Anyway, that's very rough. I'd say very rough and low-skilled historical summary of the discovery of electromagnetism. I would suggest looking up some good literature on this. You know, some textbooks would actually go about the history on this. Griffiths, I think, goes into this really well. Griffiths is a physicist who wrote great undergrad textbooks on the introduction of electrodynamics and quantum mechanics. So we're going to study physics in an institution at the United States, at least. We will most likely be reading the Griffiths text. So he goes through some history, quite detailed in the discovery of electromagnetism. I personally think, because we live in the 21st century, you can actually find great resources online. It doesn't have to be written literature. It could also be just videos like on YouTube. So there's great, good quality science communicators out there. I'd suggest maybe looking into one creator, Veritasium. I think they made a great video on the history of Faraday, and Cosmos, hosted by Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think he also did a great video on Michael Faraday, who was another scientist working on the discovery of electromagnetism. Registering that I'm trying to so sometimes my character will just ramming the left joystick to the edge, and how nice also L3 is not working well, so I play Call of Duty or something like heavily handicapped, but thankfully for me, Bloodborne doesn't use L3 to sprint, it uses the circle button. So I'm not panicking. Oh, I did get some. Oh, okay. Well, a member of the Confederate. Thank you. I actually do want to join the Confederate in Bloodborne. I just always have bad luck. the dude died twice, I think. First game. Care of this guy. I get a weak. Oh shit, that was close. That wasn't appropriate. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Okay, I got some insight back. It doesn't really repay how much I've wasted on calling for help, because I've been using the NPCs. I haven't really asked for any randoms to join. Most of my friends have already completed Bloodborne. By that I mean they've already gotten the platinum trophy. So I'm trying to get to their level, basically. I'm close. I just need to get the final ending. Go talk with the Queen of Yarna. Yes. So where did I leave off? The history of electrodynamics. I went into that tangent, and I talked about looking up some science communicators. Great. Okay. So we learned about these sources, that they provide fields in our universe, and these fields can be described. These fields, amazingly, can be described anywhere in space. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to go too far into that rabbit hole. But just to state a fact, fields are present everywhere in space. And these are fields. By fields, what I mean fields are physical force fields, or fields that can produce a force on any object that has an intrinsic property that was listed in our universe. And those are mass and charge. So mass and charge are sources of fields. They provide or produce fields, and they also interact with fields. So they not only provide, they also interact. And the reason why we use sources is because sources also imply a duality of action, I guess. Sorry for lack of a better term, action. But sources, the duality of two sources would be sync. So for charges, we would have duality being simply just positive and negative charges, which would act as positive being the source of electromagnetic fields, or actually more specifically electrostatic fields. Positive charges are the source of electrostatic fields, and negative charges act as sinks. And again, these are just basically categories or labels created by us, but they actually work out with the math models that we apply. So these sources and sinks either provide or absorb. Actually, absorb isn't the right word. I don't want to use absorb, but sink they love sinking the field. Just like a regular water sink or pool drain or a shower drain, they sink water or whatever is flowing nearby into themselves. So I'm getting a bit ahead as well into this, but classical field theory or classical field dynamics would actually explain this better. Any book on this, I'd probably recommend Landau Lipschitz's book in classical field theory. I know a lot of people say it's advanced. I actually haven't finished reading that, but I really like the style of Lipschitz that's used to explain heavy concepts like classical field theory, because it's just very concise, and it really just breaks down simple mathematical models, and I think Lipschitz tries to derive most of these theories in a step-by-step process. So I'm saying Lipschitz to this is another random tangent historical fact, but I think from last I've read or seen somewhere in historical text, sorry I can't provide sources right now, but Lipschitz was the main writer or author for most of these books because he was a former student and great friend, colleague of Landau. And unfortunately, Landau had a very severe, I guess, medical incident involving a car crash. So I think Landau was either ran over or no, he was involved in a car crash. So his car unfortunately crashed with another vehicle, and he sustained great injury from that. And he didn't really fully recover from those injuries, which unfortunately meant that he faced a lot of chronic pain and suffering from this up until his death, which I think he's lived for more than 8 years after the incident or after the accident. So throughout those 8 years, that's when he was collaborating with his colleague Lipschitz to write this series in physics textbooks, and Lipschitz was the one who wrote most of the work behind the Landau-Lipschitz series. Anyway, sad story, but I think the silver lining is this was that the camaraderie built between Landau and Lipschitz was essentially the great beacon of light, or in this case, Lipschitz being a great friend and kind person, just returning a favor to Landau for being a great, kind teacher to him, which I think is beautiful. But also, I'm not trying to downplay Landau's incident. It was very saddening to have gone through such chronic pain and suffering like that. Anyway, moving on from this. You know what? I actually wanted to check my microphone levels for this, but I don't know how to do that. On the PS4. So I'm playing on the PS4. But okay. Anyway, jumping back into the topic of plasma physics. Ooh, it's already 50 minutes. By the way, I'm actually enjoying this. It's helping me review my thoughts. And I'm sorry, I also want to say, don't take my words seriously or as fact, even though I've said in fact, or as a matter of fact. Yeah, so this is all just recollection, and I'm using this. This is my first broadcast and streaming uploaded video. I'm using this purely as a test for myself, and also as an exercise of self-reflection and a way just to practice being mindful to my own life right now. So when I'm just saying random facts and ideas that come up to my mind, but please be assured I have not confirmed these facts. Yeah, I haven't confirmed these ideas from sources. I can't cite sources right now. I'm sorry. So please do take everything with a grain of salt. Everything that I say right now. Even my description of plasma physics right now. So again, and please provide feedback. Please critique me in terms of my explanation techniques and knowledge as well, because you know, even as a fifth-year grad student, I probably should be upholding a high standard of teaching this knowledge. But to be honest, I'm still very rusty on this. And last time I took a plasma physics lecture or participated in one was back in 2022, I think. I do have all my notes, but I don't have them in front of me. And I haven't organized any of my notes. So, again, take everything with a grain of salt. I'm just sharing this with everyone here, or to the public, just in the hopes that to provide enthusiasm and to explore more topics in physical sciences. I'm sharing my experience in plasma physics because I personally think plasma physics is a fun topic to learn and grow your curiosity in. There's a lot of projects or ideas to explore currently in the field of plasma physics, and that's what I'm trying to do right now in my PhD. My PhD program. So, I'll just continue from here. And sorry, I'm taking a pause right now because I think I need to get my nasal spray. I also need to clean my cat's litter box. My eldest right now, Mochi's looking at me because I have to perform her chores. And I'm just breathing in just like stinky litter scent right now. I have the windows open, so that's helping, but with that and the air being dry and today being so hot and also breathing fumes from driving in the freeway, I just helped my family cleaned outside, so I have some nasal drip and my nose is acting up a bit. So let me get my spray. Okay. I gotta say, nasal spray, saline solution nasal sprays really are great work. I have this nasal spray with that contains iota carrageenan, I think, which, from my understanding, is a form of antiviral. So it's a great cleanser for nasal, for your nose. So you can spray as much as 2 sprays and really clears out my sinuses. Okay, great. So moving forward, right now I'm 57 minutes in and it's already 10 p.m. 10 p.m. where I'm at. Okay. So I also want to share my experience so far setting this broadcast up, because this is my first live stream slash video slash broadcast slash broadcast experience through the PS4. I had to go through the laborious effort of linking the YouTube service to my PS4 and accepting a bunch of terms and services from YouTube, which I didn't really know to what extent that would go to. Thinking that would be really easy to do all the necessary requirements to start sharing my playthrough for Bloodborne, and it actually took me probably an hour. I had to look up a video in YouTube by a really cool creator. I do want to share him. Mike's Gaming School. So Mike's Gaming School, huge shout out to you for providing a very informative video on live stream on PS4 to YouTube, and how to accept the YouTube terms to start live streaming. So again, please check out Mike's Gaming School on how to start streaming from your PS4. That he was very informative, and he's the only reason why I'm able to stream this in the first place. Yeah, even my character is excited. By the way, this is my character. His name is Javier. I'll just say it like that, Javier.
Welcome. What is it you? Hunters have told me about, but would you ever? Of course I do. Isn't it?
Sorry, I've been skipping through that because I'm already in New Game Plus, and I've just gotten used to this. But I'll just play it again.
Hunter. Hunters have told me about the church, about the gods and their love. But Do the gods love their creations? I am a doll created by you humans. Would you ever think to love me? Of course. I do love you. Isn't that how you've made me?
By the way, the lore in this game, the atmosphere, the fantasy, mythology, all that is just beautiful. And I regret saying that it took me years to really finally appreciate the beauty in this game. And I also want to give a shout out and thanks to all the YouTube creators that have created so many great video essays behind the lore and the mythology behind this game. I think a great starter to me was H-Bomber Guy's video on Bloodborne, but another creator who made a whole YouTube video essay on the theme of femininity that pertains in the game of Bloodborne, or that persists. Sorry, sorry, it took me a while to think of that word. Persists throughout this game, throughout this world. So real quick, that creator, YouTuber Honeybat has a great video on the themes in Bloodborne. Their video title is Visceral Femininity, a Bloodborne video essay. Great video. I would recommend you guys check it out. Also, before that, I got myself into Silent Hill, so I do want to recommend checking the lore videos of Silent Hill. One creator I would recommend is Max Durat, and another great creator, and I want to say historian too, because they talk excessively about Team Silent. I'm just trying to find them. Damn. So YouTube does a great job of just showing top creators of topics that I'm trying to look up, which I guess is the point. But I do miss the times when YouTube would also show obscure or new creators. So the other creator I was thinking of was the Gaming Muse. The Gaming Muse has a great series in Silent Hill and the history of Team Silent and the creation of Silent Hill.
Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
Sorry, it's only appropriate to just give a proper bow. This is also another cool feature. I did not realize our companion doll also bows back until this new game. I think I found it through the subreddits, but once you start a bow, the doll also respectfully returns the bow to you. Anyway, going back, what am I doing? I just got a very friendly helper assist me in defeating the Shadows of Yharnam, and I have to use my Blood Echoes. My rule of thumb is only use half of the Blood Echoes, a bit less than half for Blood Vials, and the rest for Quicksilver Bullets, because you've seen how generous I am to using Quicksilver Bullets. Which I shouldn't be. I should use more Blood Bullets, but that's good for now. So I'm gonna leave this as is, and I'm go ahead and go back to my dungeons. So I need, what's this disclaimer? This chest has been deleted from the server. Okay, that's great to know. Alright, so I'm in the Defiled Chalice, and this has been a pain in the ass because I need to defeat the amygdala. And as everyone knows, the amygdala is the most kind of them all. Or, in proper English, the amygdala is the kindest of them all. Okay, I hate this fucking place. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to use that language. So I hate this place because I'm so limited in my actions and movement. But yet I love it because it's a FromSoft game and it's supposed to be like this. I'm supposed to feel challenged. So once I'm able to surpass or persevere in these obstacles, I gain a bigger reward in my self-confidence. Even though this is just simply a PS4 game, which I'm just mashing buttons into to produce these actions. But isn't life basically mashing buttons? Anyway, I'm hesitating whether to call this companion or not, because I always have horrible luck with this. As soon as I walk in with the companion, I die. And I lose my insight. So I don't know if, I don't think I'll try that. I think I'll actually try ringing the bell again. I do need some help. And what's great about growing as a human being is learning how to accept that you need help, and when it's great to call for help. It's also great to give chances or opportunities to people to help you, to let them help you. Okay. Okay, so let's jump back to it. I was talking about first principles. We went along to the history of electrodynamics, went into that tangent, some sources, YouTube creators you can look up into. Another huge disclaimer that I should share right now. I know it's already 1 hour and 8 minutes into this live stream, but my English is pretty broken. I'm sorry. My English, I think, was, yeah, I'll just say English was one of my first languages. My very first language was Spanish. And I learned English, I think, once I entered grade school, so in kindergarten. And I've since had some trouble articulating or saying out some English words. Because I've had a hard time learning English, to be honest, when I was little. So I'm sorry if you hear me slur my words or murmur a lot. Also hesitate and having some difficulty in articulating my thoughts and completing sentences, repeating words or stating certain words or phrases that don't really fit the context. Again, I'm just literally just talking straight from my mind, and again, trying to articulate my thoughts in this test stream session. So, gonna have to stop. Have to stop saying a lot. Okay, so sorry it's 10 and I'm already tired because my wife and I have been surviving out of 6 hours of sleep throughout the week. Because this is the regular life of 2 working class millennials or Gen Zers. I think we're millennials. Okay, going forward from where we left off. Sources, sinks. Okay, so talking about these particles in our universe are a thought experiment, which have mass and charge, and they act, and because they have these intrinsic properties, they act as sources, which provide, or sinks, which provide or sink, take flow of the fields. And fields are physical, and they exist in our physical worlds because of previous observations and experiments done by other scientists, which are history lessons that could be learned by other creators or literature, which I've already recommended. Okay, so we have these sources. I've also talked about creating a sum of our particles to define or to define the aggregate or the group of our particles by a group property, being the total mass or the total charge. So we did this by summing up all the particles, and mathematically speaking, we did this by summing up all the Dirac deltas. And we get back the total mass and the total charge. So sources, because our particles have the intrinsic property of location in space and direction in flow or velocity or momentum, we could define the sources of that flow. So for mass that flows, typically sorry, I'm blanking out of this. So sources of mass that contain mass, when they're moving, they can introduce some very interesting physics through the use of general relativity. But I'm not going to talk about that right now, and it's really not necessary for this part of the discussion. But for charges, when charges are flowing, they produce a new form of a source. So initially, I was talking about these particles being sources of the electromagnetic force, and more specifically, I was supposed to state that they are sources for the electrostatic field, where the positive charge acts as the source and the negative charge acts as the sink for the electrostatic field. Now, when these charges start moving, because initially we also stated that they have some set velocity, as their intrinsic property. When they start moving relative to our to us, we'll say we are an observer in this universe, so we have a set of position where we're able to see how this universe plays out. So as these particles begin to move, nice, I found another friend. Luckily for me, they're in the defiled chalice. This person really loves suffering, because the defiled chalice is pretty hard. Cooperator goes back. Nice. I'm guessing they're. I think I have. I thought they were gonna have some fit that makes them look like Boba Fett, maybe a helmet or something. Okay. Hand, because that's shit. Every time he makes his hands like that, he's gonna go first. Ooh, that was close. That's also why I like going for the hands. Like for the legs, I would get smashed. Did my friend die? Oh no, he's there. Get out of the way. Hit. Get out of the way. I missed that. Ooh, that was close. Get up there. Slide. There we go. Thank you. Thank you from South. I was so worried I died. Alright. Yeah, this is why I find this enemy annoying. Oh, man. Okay. I'm gonna leave this for intermission. I need to really clean their litter box right now. So I'll be right back. I think this is going to be actually the penultimate intermission, because I'm gonna cut this streaming short. So I'll leave it in pause for 10 minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. I'm back from intermission. I hope we're all back. And I hope you enjoyed your small break. I just took care of the litter box business and checked a few things around our home. And I think I'm gonna go back and try the amygdala. So let's go ahead and do so. Okay. Actually, let's see. I want to see if I can play some music while broadcasting, but due to copyright laws, I suppose that's not possible anymore. We can only reminisce on the past during the days of early YouTube. Really early 2010s, I want to say. A lot of great YouTube content creators were posting great videos with music montages and whatnot. Sadly, we can't use most of popular media to add into our own content for our own creative purposes because of strict copyright laws now, and more so maybe because of private entities exploiting the concept of copyright. Exploiting the concept of creative space, monetizing and monopolizing creative spaces to a point that you have to pay for a subscription in order to enjoy certain liberties. In order to enjoy the liberty to consume their content. Not even use it for your own creative purposes, but just to consume. But don't listen to me. That's just an observation I've made. Not a coherent observation, not a linear observation either, it's just an observation. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue our gameplay here, and I'm going to go back to try to defeat the amygdala by myself. I don't think I'm calling for help anymore. Okay, let's do this. Starting off hard. Okay. That really wasn't impressive. Hey, what's she? Sorry. My baby's crying. My cat baby. And I'm talking in a different tone right now because honestly pretty tired. But I'm also devoted to trying to defeat the amygdala. So let's let's try to do that before I go to sleep. I'm just gonna get some blood echoes and blood bullets. It's too soon. Okay. I gotta say, I've enjoyed this so far. Again, this is my first experience broadcasting live and submitting a video to YouTube. But I guess PlayStation has made this easy to create a stream. And thanks also to FromSoft for creating such a beautiful game. Really cool. Love Bloodborne. Okay. Hopefully one day my wife and I can stream our own experience in playing Halo. We've been wanting to play split screen Halo for a while, but still need to figure out how to do so. We don't have an Xbox. I only have the Master Chief Collection on my Steam PC. And I figured that there is a mod to play split screen on PC, but need to dedicate some time to investigate that further. But anyways, I'm gonna continue forward into this, and I think I'm gonna hit a pause on my rabbit hole into plasma physics, and I'm pausing in the explanation for sources. I was just barely getting started with moving sources, so this was going to, and by moving sources, I was actually introducing the idea of currents. So that probably will be continued on the next video. Alright, so let's go forward and just focus on Bloodborne for now. I'm just gonna turn on my massage chair. Massage half chair. More like a massage back chair. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, mi niño. Need to chala. Sorry, my boy's here. My youngest cat. He's very lovable. See, mi niño. Give me some motivation to try to defeat that Magdala. Okay. Let's get this started. I fell for that. Oh, I knew the risk. I was just being really greedy. I knew the risk. I'm also very happy to say I didn't have much expectation with this test run. I was really hoping to just have this video all to myself and just use this more as a personal reflection for me. And but I'm actually happy to say I did have a visitor. There was someone in the audience, and they even offered to help me play in the Forbidden Woods. So I think if my audience member who was here, if you were the one who helped me right now to defeat the Shadows of Yharnam, thank you. And to whoever was the cooperator, Boba Fett, I think I apologize for dying early. Alright, let's do this. Nice. Oh. I'm gonna do the other leg. It's oh my. As my uncle would say, pues. Which means, oh well. Sorry, I was just scrolling through my phone right now, checking if there were any messages. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and try my best. No prep. Actually, yes, prep. Just this. I'm gonna use the old hunter bone. See what this guy does. Actually, the old hunter bone does help a bit. knew he only had one hit left. Oh no. I need to alternate. To be honest, this fight isn't really that bad, but it's fighting the amygdala in this cursed dungeon, in the defiled dungeon, has been the most slowly painful experience in this game so far. Fighting Orphan, initially, like my first time fighting Orphan was suffering, but this one's slow and painful. Second time fighting Orphan was actually better and had more fun. No, I gotta alternate, start with this guy. And let's try it out. I think I evaded too soon that time. Funny that jumping into him actually saved me. Oh, I was so confident in that one. Alright, I think I'm gonna set this as my last try. So, it's been fun. I've enjoyed trying this test out. I just I'm getting a bit tired right now. I'm no longer young, and as much as I enjoy fighting the amygdala, I can't stay up at forever trying to defeat it. So, I'm letting you, the viewer, know that I'm going to prepare to say goodnight. It's been fun, and I hope to continue doing these videos and live streams. I really enjoy talking about my experience in plasma physics and what I've learned, or what I recall. I have learned these concepts, but it's been difficult trying to recall this. I hope that in the future I'll upload more videos or create more live streams where I can share more about my personal growth and my life experiences outside of my professional academic career. Because I do have a lot to share. And I do hope to contribute something meaningful to everyone who views this. Alright. So before we settle this night, let's go on once more to try to defeat the amygdala. Let's prepare, and let's get this going. That was good timing. Nope. That was bad timing. Okay, well, I would say that's a good try. I had fun playing this session. And again, thank you for your time, for listening to me on my rants. And this big rabbit hole, which is plasma physics. So I think I'll end this session here. I give thee a proper farewell. Thank you for your time, and have a good night. Until the next one. Sorry, I'm still here. I just need I need to stop the broadcast.